There are moments in life when survival itself feels like defiance, when continuing to exist becomes an act of quiet rebellion against forces that seemed determined to erase you. For Jamie Foxx, survival has never been accidental or passive. It has been an active, daily choice shaped by hardship, discipline, faith, and relentless work. Long before awards, applause, or global recognition, his life was marked by challenges that demanded resilience at every turn. His story is not one of effortless talent rising smoothly to the top, but of a man forged through pressure, absence, and endurance. Jamie Foxx did not stumble into greatness. He built it piece by piece, often in silence, often alone. His journey invites a deeper question. What happens when someone survives what should have broken them? The answer, in his case, is not just success, but transformation, of pain into purpose, struggle into mastery, and survival into legacy. A beginning without guarantees. Jamie Foxx was born Eric Marlin Bishop on December 13, 1967, in Terrell, Texas, into a world that offered no promises of security or comfort. His parents were young, unprepared, and ultimately absent, leaving him without the foundational certainty that many children take for granted. By the time he was just months old, he was placed in the care of his grandmother, Estelle Marie Talley, a woman whose strength would shape every aspect of his future. Her home was not one of luxury or indulgence, but of structure, faith, and expectation. Love in her world was expressed through discipline and consistency rather than softness. It was not an easy environment, but it was a stabilizing one. In a life that began with abandonment, her presence became the first pillar of survival, offering something far more valuable than comfort: direction. The woman who built the foundation. Estelle Talley was a deeply religious woman, grounded in church, routine, and personal responsibility. She believed that order could protect a child from chaos, and she enforced that belief with unwavering resolve. Jamie's days were shaped by schedules, rules, and expectations that left little room for aimlessness. Yet, within that discipline lived opportunity. She introduced him to music early, insisting he learn piano and read music fluently. What began as obligation soon became language, expression, and refuge. While other children played freely, Jamie practiced scales, classical compositions, and hymns, repeating passages until precision became instinct. His grandmother did not frame music as a hobby. It was a discipline, a calling, and a lifeline. In her strictness, she gave him something enduring, the belief that excellence is earned, not granted. Music as shelter and identity music became Jamie's first form of expression, long before comedy or acting ever entered his imagination. The piano bench was where frustration met focus, where loneliness found sound, and where discipline translated into confidence. Gospel music connected him to faith and community, offering belonging where family absence had left gaps. Classical training gave him technical mastery, teaching patience and control. These hours of practice were not glamorous, but they were formative. They taught him that repetition builds strength, that mistakes are part of growth, and that mastery comes from commitment. Long before stages and spotlights, music gave him identity. It allowed him to be heard without speaking, to feel whole without explanation. In a childhood shaped by emotional absence, music provided continuity and meaning. The quiet weight of loneliness. Despite structure and opportunity, the absence of his parents left an emotional void that never fully disappeared. School events passed without familiar faces in the crowd. Achievements were met with silence rather than celebration. Jamie learned early what it meant to stand alone, to succeed without witnesses. That loneliness did not fade with age. It settled quietly into his personality, shaping how he navigated the world. Humor became a shield, a way to control how others saw him while protecting what he felt. Making people laugh offered connection without vulnerability, acceptance without exposure. Beneath the jokes lived a child who had learned self-reliance too soon. That emotional duality, confidence outward, solitude inward, would later become one of the defining traits of his artistry. Discipline as a survival skill. As Jamie moved into adolescence, the lessons of discipline deepened. His grandmother's insistence on responsibility left little room for excuses. He learned that effort was the only currency he could depend on. That mindset became his compass. Whether in school, church, or music, he applied himself fully, understanding that consistency created opportunity. Discipline was not about punishment, it was about preparation. It taught him how to endure boredom, frustration, and delay without giving up. These skills would later prove essential in an industry that thrives on rejection. Long before Hollywood tested him, life already had, and he was learning quietly and steadily how to withstand it. Discovering humor as power comedy entered Jamie's life not as ambition, but as instinct. He noticed early that laughter changed the energy in a room, that humor created connection where words failed. Making people laugh offered a sense of control in situations where he otherwise felt invisible. Over time, humor became more than defense. It became craft. He studied timing, tone, and observation, learning how to read people and respond. Comedy allowed him to transform personal pain into shared experience, to turn isolation into community. What began as coping evolved into calling. Without realizing it, Jamie was developing the foundation for a future that would demand both emotional intelligence and courage. Stepping beyond Texas leaving. Terrell meant stepping into uncertainty, but Jamie was already accustomed to navigating the unknown. He pursued higher education, studying music and composition, deepening his technical skills, while quietly nurturing his growing interest in performance. College provided exposure to new ideas and possibilities, but it also sharpened his hunger. Music alone no longer felt sufficient. He craved immediacy, connection, and risk. Comedy, with its unpredictability and raw honesty, called to him. That call led him to Los Angeles, a city defined by ambition and rejection in equal measure. The move was not glamorous. It was a gamble fueled by belief rather than certainty, reinventing himself to survive. In comedy clubs, Jamie faced a brutal reality. Opportunities were scarce, competition relentless, and failure public. To increase his chances, he adopted the name Jamie Foxx, a strategic choice designed to navigate biased booking practices. It was not an act of deception, but adaptation. Reinvention became survival. Night after night, he performed for indifferent or hostile audiences, refining his voice through trial and error. Some sets soared, others fell flat. Each experience taught him something new about timing, resilience, and humility. Comedy was no longer armor, it was training. The boy who once practiced piano alone was now sharpening his instincts under pressure, learning how to stand tall even when applause was uncertain. Persistence in the face of rejection. Rejection was constant, but Jamie refused to internalize it as failure. He understood rejection as information, not judgment. Each closed door clarified his approach, strengthened his resolve, and sharpened his perspective. He remembered his grandmother's lessons. Effort precedes reward, and quitting guarantees nothing. Slowly, opportunities expanded. Television appearances followed, culminating in a breakthrough role on In Living Color. For the first time, his talent reached a national audience, yet even success carried limits. He was praised for comedy, but underestimated as an artist. The challenge shifted from being seen to being taken seriously, fighting for artistic respect. The 1990s were a period of steady work and quiet frustration. The Jamie Foxx show showcased his versatility, blending humor, music, and emotional depth. Still, industry perceptions lagged behind his ambitions. Jamie knew he was capable of more, but recognition does not always arrive on schedule. He continued to work, to study, to prepare. When dramatic opportunities finally emerged, he approached them with the same discipline that had shaped his childhood. He was not chasing validation. He was ready for responsibility. A defining transformation. That preparation culminated in Ray, a role that demanded complete immersion. Jamie approached the portrayal of Ray Charles with reverence, precision, and emotional honesty. He studied relentlessly, honoring not just the music, but the humanity of the man. The performance transcended imitation. It revealed understanding. The recognition that followed, awards, acclaim, respect, was significant, but what mattered most was what it represented. It affirmed that discipline, patience, and belief could rewrite narratives. The boy once dismissed as a comedian had proven himself an artist of rare depth. Success without illusion achievement did not insulate Jamie from doubt or criticism. Projects faltered. Expectations intensified. The industry remained unforgiving. Yet he met each challenge with perspective. He diversified his work, choosing roles that reflected range and substance. He returned to music, earning accolades that confirmed his multidimensional talent. Success did not erase his past. It contextualized it. He remained grounded in the knowledge that stability is never guaranteed and effort must be renewed daily. Fatherhood as redemption. Amid professional highs and lows, fatherhood became Jamie's most profound commitment. Becoming a parent awakened both fear and determination. He was acutely aware of the pain absence can cause and resolved not to repeat it. Presence became his promise. He prioritized involvement, consistency, and support. Parenthood reframed success, grounding him in responsibility beyond career ambition. His children became anchors, reminders of what truly endures. Healing without erasing the past. Jamie has never claimed to be free of scars. Healing, for him, has not meant forgetting, but integrating. He acknowledges fear without surrendering to it. He honors pain without allowing it to define him. Through reflection, faith, and connection, he continues to grow. Survival, in his story, is not a moment, it is a practice. Endurance in the face of adversity. Later health challenges tested that endurance in new ways, requiring vulnerability and patience rather than performance. Recovery became a different kind of discipline, one rooted in trust, gratitude, and humility. The experience reinforced what life had taught him repeatedly. Nothing is guaranteed, but resilience is renewable. Each return to strength carried deeper appreciation for life, connection, and purpose. A legacy beyond applause. Jamie Foxx's legacy is not confined to awards or box office numbers. It lives in the example he sets of persistence without bitterness, of excellence without entitlement, of success grounded in humanity. His journey illustrates that survival can be transformative, that adversity can refine rather than destroy. He stands as proof that resilience is learned, cultivated, and sustained through choice. The meaning of his story. Ultimately, Jamie Foxx's life reminds us that greatness is not the absence of struggle, but the ability to rise within it. His story honors the quiet strength built in unseen moments, the discipline practiced without recognition, and the courage required to continue when outcomes are uncertain. He did not simply survive what could have erased him. He used it to build a life of depth, purpose, and enduring impact. And in doing so, he offers something greater than inspiration: understanding.